Good afternoon, everybody. This is Robert at Scott Leroy Marketing. We're going to get started with our overview of chats, groups, and referrals in Command. This is a pretty new class. It's only our second time doing it, so bear with me as we're on a learning curve with you. Before we get started, let's do a little bit of a sound check. If you'll look up near the top of your screen, you should have these same 5 buttons that I do. If you'll click on this one just to the left of center that looks like a speech bubble, that's going to open up your chat window here. If you can tell me here in the chat window whether you can or can't hear me, I would really appreciate that. This is also where I'm going to be sending just a couple of notes. There we go. If your 95 says they can hear me, beautiful. This is also where I'm going to be sending a couple of notes. There's literally just 2 notes. Excuse me, about the class, and we may get some more as we go through the class, but so you want to keep an eye on that chat window. That's also where you're going to send me any questions that you have throughout the class. If there's anything that's unclear, anything I accidentally skipped, anything you'd like to go back over, you can definitely send those to me in that chat window. I will be monitoring that. This class is being recorded. That's what you saw me do right before I started speaking. That'll be available at slmtraining.com, hopefully in just a couple of hours, but at the latest tomorrow. So it's slmtraining.com. We should have that available there pretty soon. And then if you're having trouble with your computer speakers or you'd rather just call in on your phone, there are instructions there on the screen, and I sent them to you in your chat window there for how to call in using your phone. So with that stuff out of the way, let's go ahead and get started. Our first step is going to be to get logged into, actually, you know what, let me just start from the very beginning. It's going to be to get logged into agent.kw.com. We're not going to log into mykw.kw.com. That won't let us access Command. We're just going to log into agent.kw.com. Now, there have been 2 instances since the new login page for Command was released that I've seen where the agent.kw.com just takes you back into mykw. If you're having that issue, visit login.command.kw.com. But if you're seeing this here at agent.kw.com, this is exactly correct. This is what you should be seeing. So you're going to log in using the same username and password you used for mykw, and it is going to be the username, not your @kw.com email address. That was phased out back in September of 2018. It does have to be your real actual username, which is typically in the format first initial and then last name, and then maybe a number or 2 depending on how common your last name and your initial are. And then your password, wrong password. Once you're logged into Command, it's going to take you here to the dashboard. You can access pretty much everything that you need to do in Command here from the dashboard. If you'll look down here at the bottom, we have this button here that says Accept Cookies. You do have to click that button every time you log into Command in order to unveil the chat button down here. And we're going to get into that in just a little bit here. You can also access your groups. Where are groups? Things have been moved around. We'll figure out where groups are. Oh, there's groups there, and then it is not over here on the left. Interesting. But you can access groups here from the dashboard in Command as well. And then we're also going to be working with referrals here in the dashboard, and that is also on the left here with this little person inside the location icon. We're actually going to start with chat because that has the least information to cover, so we can actually get it out of the way fairly quickly. If you click on the little chat button down here, it's going to show you a list excuse me, of people that you've recently chatted with here in Command. It looks like Scott has chatted with me, with this Jason and this Lori here. You can also ask Kelly things directly here from within Command. You don't necessarily have to use the phone app. You can do the same things from the phone here in Command. So you could ask Kelly, what is my GCI for the year? And she's not going to have that information because Scott is not an agent and he doesn't have any GCI. So we'll close that chat there. So to start a new chat, you can either click on the name of any person that you chatted with recently. You can also click down here on My Team. If you have team members that are noted in Winmore, you can click on their name and chat with them. This feature is, from what I understand, still being worked on. So if you're having issues with this, not all of your team members are showing, or none of them, or too many people, or something like that, you would want to contact KW International Support directly, and I can get you that information for how to do that. If you send me a message there in the chat window. But for the time being, team features in Command are very limited to be almost non-existent, and this is the only team feature basically that there is. Actually, there's one other team feature, but we're not covering that in this class. And then also down here, you've got your referral network that you can chat with. And if I click on that, it's going to show me the list of people that I have accepted or Scott has accepted in his referral network, and or they have accepted him. So you can click on any of them and start a chat with them. You can also come up here at the top right and click on the pencil icon and start a new chat with anybody that's in the Connect system. So any KW associate you can search for. So let's try, who am I going to search for? Let's see, who is, somebody give me your name here that's on the class that's on the chat here, and I can chat with you. But theoretically, Jessica is supposed to show up here in this list, and I can click on her name and save that, and it would start a chat to Jessica. You can also click on the gear up here to add more people to this chat. So if you want this to be a group chat, you can add additional people like Gary Keller. I'm going to send Gary a chat here. I'm actually not going to send him a chat, but I'm going to add him to the list here. You can also add like John Davis. Wherever he is. There we go. There's the big man, John Davis there. You can add multiple people to a chat, save that, and then your messages will get sent to all of the people that are in this chat. And you can also close it up here at the top. Now, one thing I want to point out just next to the chat here is this little support button. This is going to start a chat with the KW support bot, but there is a way, if you wait just a minute down here, you can leave a message for KW International Support, an actual person, and they can get back to you with help with your KW services. This actually recently is the most effective and quickest way that we found to contact KW International Support. Email and phone is not being nearly as quick as this is right now. They're just inundated with everybody having troubles with Command since it was released a little too early. Okay, with chat. Oh, as far as chat goes, the people that you're chatting with here don't necessarily have to be on your team or in your referral network. They can be any KW associate anywhere. Gary and John were not in Scott's referral network, but you saw I was able to add them to that group chat there. So you can chat with anybody that's in the referral system in KW Connect. So we're going to move from chat up here to groups. Groups in Command are very similar to groups in like Facebook. This is where you can communicate with a bunch of people at once with a similar interest or a similar goal or a similar mindset. Very similar to what's the way that groups work on Facebook. And you'll notice over here on the left that Scott is a member of several groups here. He's a member of, it looks like a Bryn Mawr, what's that called? Market Center, another Market Center, the Command Lab, several different market centers here. And if you click on any of those, you will be able to post things for everybody in that group to see. So this is the Market Center group for KW in Bryn Mawr. Looks like there's a team leader that's at training in, looks like KW International over in Austin. So they've got a good class going on there, sharing that with the Market Center, everybody that's in there, letting them know, hey, I am training, I am learning to do my job better for you guys. If we go back here to the groups page, theoretically, sometime in the future, are groups only for KW agents? That is a good question, Jessica. Yes, they are. It's only for internal KW associates. And the groups function very similar to the way that they do in Facebook. Administrators of the groups set, what are they called, permissions for who can join the groups or how people join groups, whether it's open for just anybody to join or whether they have to be approved or invited. And that is 100% internal. Only KW associates are part of these groups. This is not public in any way, shape, form, or fashion. No clients or anybody outside of KW is going to see anything that's in these groups or in really anywhere in Command unless you specifically click a button that says send to this contact. So these groups are 100% internal. It's a good question. Okay, over here on the right, it does say coming soon, but there are some new features for groups that you should be able to see over here eventually. Your pending invitations to groups, tags for popular groups that are out there that you might want to join, suggested groups based on your current groups, groups that are focused on education or culture or technology, and then I guess more information down here at the bottom as things become available. This is not currently available, but eventually you'll be able to see a summary of things like that here, as well as the list of your current groups. You also have the option here to create a new group. You can actually create your own group anytime you want, invite anybody you want, leave out anybody you want, and it can be maybe a group for your team, or if you're market center leadership, for your market center. There's several of those. That's probably most market centers already have one. You could, if you're an Ignite instructor, you could create a group for this, what do we call that? This round of Ignite's students, and you can share tips and information and what the missions and everything are. You can track your 10-4s and everything. Well, not really track them, but report your 10-4s in there. You can create a group for pretty much anything that you want to communicate with multiple people for, long-term or short-term. A group can last, just a couple of days if you want it to. There's no limit. You don't have a maximum number of groups you can create as far as we can tell. You just create your group, invite the people you want, and use it for whatever you want, however you want, however long you want, and then you can just let it go if you want to. So I'm going to create a test group here. You guys don't necessarily have to follow along with this. I'm going to call this class, this date, 2019-0424. This is a test group for demonstration purposes. There we go. Keywords. This would be basically similar to the keywords for when you're posting content in KW Connect. This is what the group is about, what you want people to be able to find this group for. So, that is a good question. We'll have to cover that in a little bit. What am I looking at here? So for keywords, this is going to be, maybe education, or is it going to, oops, it created the group. So don't hit enter while you're hearing keywords. They're going to be comma separated. So test class 1904. Gosh. Things like that. Moderators, you're actually not going to be able to assign here until there are actually members of your group. I'm not sure why this field is even here, honestly. You have to assign moderators after the group is created, after people have actually joined the group. So we can't assign moderators here, I don't think. Oh, okay, I was wrong. So I'm going to assign me as a moderator here. Actually, no, I'm not yet, because I want to send that invitation and show you guys what that looks like. You can also send invitations. I'm going to send this from Scott to myself. And then you've got your visibility options here. Is this public? Can anybody join, or can anybody see it just by looking for groups on connecting command here? Is it closed where people can see the group but they can't join it? Or is it private where you can't even see the group unless you're invited? I'm going to call this a public group here, and if you guys want to, you can search for this title here once I create it and join this group. I will be deleting it pretty much immediately, but you can join the group just to see what that looks like. In fact, let me see if I can invite Jessica. See, there you are there. I wonder why you weren't available in chat. Okay, Jessica, I guess you weren't paying attention a few minutes ago. The point of groups is to communicate and share stuff with multiple people at once. I covered this a few minutes ago. So like this would be for your team, or maybe for, if you're an instructor, for your Ignite group for this time around. Anybody that you want to have communication with or share things with internally over a period of time, rather than trying to keep track of something maybe through an email chain or a Facebook group. This is internal to KW. If you have additional questions about that, definitely send those over via email, but I did cover that. Okay, and then down here for icon, this is going to be, what is this? It's going to be basically a profile picture for the group. I'll just throw something in here. There we go. We'll call this KW logo here. And then we'll create this group. So here it is here. These are going to be alphabetical right here. So I'm going to click on this group right here. And you know what? That's a very good question. How do you find new groups to join if you aren't invited? That is a very good question. I will have to look into that because I don't know the answer there. But Jessica, I sent you that invitation. If there's anybody else in the chat there that wants an invitation just to see what that looks like, you're welcome to do that. So this is what the group looks like when you first create it. There's nothing in here yet. You can invite your members up in the top right. Right here, you can look at your list of groups here and switch between groups. Coming across the top here, we've got the feed of posts here. So we're going to post, this is the first post. We'll post that there, and now all the members of the group will be able to see that post that I shared there. You can also share, what is this, a poll? Is that what it is? Yeah, you can create a poll to get people's votes about something. So again, if you're a member of a team and you're trying to decide on a team name, maybe, you can share a poll there and have people vote on what their preference is for the team's name. You can also share images right here. So I'm going to share, there we go, nice SLM logo. I don't know why I didn't see that, sharing that there. And we'll post that there. Ta-da! Okay, over here on the right, we've got the About section here. This can be edited via the gear up here. It's showing my current members right here. Right now, it's just Scott. But if I hop over to me really quickly, where did I go? There I am. Come over to my groups. Is it going to show me my invitations? Not showing them on this page. So maybe in notifications. This is not being. So this is a group that I created last time I did this class. I need to go and delete that. Where are my invitations? I don't have any notifications. Oh, there we go. Inbound invites. There we are. Okay, so there's a good answer to my question there. So right here, you're looking at your groups list. The way that I got here is if I come up here at the top left and I click on command, this is going to be in my command section. So the database, the what's that called? Marketing materials, reminders, things like that. And if I click on connect, this is going to be for connect content and the groups apparently. So this is where it's going to show a summary of my groups here. And over on the right are my invitations to join any groups. So let's see. Inbound invites. Scott invited me to join this group. I'm going to tell that yes, I want to join that. Yes, I want to join that. Okay, and then Scott also requested to join. There was an error. Okay, not surprised here. There was an error approving or joining this group. Not a big deal. Don't know why it's having an error there, but not a big deal. It's to be expected with command because there are a lot of errors across command. But this is where you're going to see those invitations and those requests that you've sent to other people. Okay, jumping back over here to Scott. Up here at the top right, we've got our settings gear. This is where you can change things about the group rather than just posting to the group. So you can change the name of the group, you can change the keywords, you can change the description, you can add a location. So we can call this like Orlando, Florida. You can give it a specific address if you want to, United States. You can also update the banner that's across the top here. And from what I understand, there's not really. Let's see, best resolution for the profile banner is 1920 by 300. Max file size is 20 megabytes. So you can upload an image here. I'm going to go ahead and do that SLM logo. It's going to look really funny stretched out across there. You've also got your admin rights here, so you can add new moderators to the group here. So we're going to add me because I apparently accepted that request even though it told me I couldn't. So now both Scott and I are moderators. So I can change, since I created the group, I can change myself to a moderator. I can also change other moderators to the owner. I can also remove them as moderators or remove them from the group. I can change that privacy. I can also archive this group. And that's pretty much it as far as the group goes. Are there any questions as I archive this group here? Anybody have any questions about groups? All right, not getting any questions, so we're going to move on to referrals. This is basically where we're going to spend the rest of the class here. There's a lot more information to cover here in referrals. This is going to be a little bit follow along. Say if you have a partner with you, somebody next to you watching the class, this is a great way to ping pong back and forth and just see what it looks like. So we're going to click on referrals here right on the dashboard. And the way I got here is I'm in the command section and I click on the little home icon here, and this is showing me the dashboard. So it's this, this section right here. It's also over here in the left menu, this little person inside the location icon. That means referrals as well. So we'll go into the referrals section that way. And if anybody happened to be watching last time I did this class a month ago, you remember how everything was so slow? This is much, much faster. Okay. So here in the referrals section, what it's going to show me by default is my referral network. And this is my as in Scott. I'm viewing Scott's referrals here. I can do view all down here at the bottom. It'll show the full list of all of his referral connections. And if I go back here to the dashboard, things are arranged a little bit differently from the way they are in KW Connect. You can also see an overview of how many people have invited you to join their referral network. There's no point in sending Scott an invitation to join your referral network. He's not an agent. He can't work with your referrals, nor can he send you any referrals because he's not an agent. So there's no point in sending Scott a referral request or me a referral request. So don't do it. There's no need to. You can also see new responses to requests that you've sent out to other people. So if I were to go in and reject any of these requests, these people would see that response here. You can also see inbound referrals themselves. So say one of these people or somebody else out on the referral network sent Scott a referral to work on. You can see that here. Or Scott sent a referral out to somebody else to work on. There's also the option right here to grow my network. Let's go ahead and click on that button here. And what it's going to ask is if I want to let it know my location. I will go ahead and allow that just to show you what it looks like. It's going to ping in here on, zoom in here. It's going to ping in here on where I am in Kansas. I am in Emporia right here. So if I zoom in a little bit, it's going to show me there actually aren't any agents around here. So I'm going to leave it zoomed out just a little bit here. You can show this by production. Let's see here. You know what? I think I didn't allow my location soon enough. So let's go ahead and search here by city or zip code. So I'm from, we'll call it Pensacola. Search Pensacola here. All right, each one of these blue dots out here on the map is a closed sale by a KW associate. And if you click on the dot, even though you get a little finger icon, nothing actually happens. It's just showing me that these are all transactions that got closed. If I look over here on the right, it's going to show me all the agents that have closed these transactions here on the right. You'll notice that the sort is by default random. So I can change this sort to something else. I apparently zoomed out on the map. I didn't mean to. I can change this to alphabetical by name, A to Z or Z to A. I can change this to closed units, which is probably the most popular thing people are going to want to sort this by. And this is going to show me the highest producing agent in this area. And that looks like it's going to be Christina Walden. No, it's not. It's Diane Harmon. Harmon and Murphy. I love these guys. They're great. The Harmon Murphy group. And then we've got Eric Hansen. He's got a team. Cinnamon Reed's on a team. So is Paul Machado. So these are high producing agents in this area. You can also sort by listings sold. So if you've got a listing referral you want to send over to these guys, this is going to show the highest number of listings, which is going to be roughly the same people. We're not seeing Dawn as high as she was. And this Paula is new. Oh, she's from Destin, that's why. And then you can also sort this by buy sides closed. So if you've got a buyer that's coming to this area, you can look for somebody that's closed a lot of buyers to be pretty confident that they can work with this buyer. And then lastly, you can sort it by leases. I know there's not a lot of lease traffic, but there are a lot of condos in Pensacola, so you might want to work with somebody who's had a lot of experience with leases as well. What you can also do is up here back in the top left above that search bar, you can change this from production to market centers, and it's going to show me icons for market centers in this map area. So it's going to show me here's the Pensacola Market Center. If I come more over to the right here, it's going to show me the Destin Market Center. If I were to go more to the east here, there's one over in Mobile. Oops, I went too far. There we go. We've got Daphne Mobile right here. And then you can also view this by my network. So this is just going to show agents that are already in your referral network. Scott isn't going to have anybody in here. Let's see if we can go to, we'll go to Little Rock, Arkansas, so that we can see Rob Denning here on the map. So if I click on this, this is going to be Rob here and apparently several other people. I don't know why they're showing here. Allison, she's in Suwannee, but we're in Little Rock. Anyway, so this will show people that are in your referral network as well. So I'm going to come back to production. There we go. We've got some closed production over here. I got to zoom out some more. Let me go back to Pensacola. I didn't mean to do Pensacola Beach, but close enough. Okay, so we've got all these little production markers here in this list of 218 agents. That's a lot of people to try to figure out who you want to send a referral to. So instead, I'm going to come up here and click on Filter Agents. And I've got several options to use to filter here. Are they a member of these different sections of KW International? So, excuse me, are they in mastery coaching? Are they global? Are they luxury, commercial, land, young professionals, or are they an expansion agent? I'm going to leave these blank here, and I'm just going to drop down here to closed units. So I want this person to have at least, we'll call it 15 closings in the last 12 months. So this would be from last, still April, so this would be last March to this March. And then I want 10 of those to be listings sold versus buyer side. And I'm going to leave buy side alone because this is going to be a listing referral. And then, yeah, let's see, did this person go to Mega Camp? And now this is something that I would want to recommend to KW International here. The filter, the apply filter button here is behind the chat button and behind the labs feature button. So we're going to have to aim very carefully here to click on that apply filter. And there we go, it's going to pop that out there. So now there are only 3 agents that meet these requirements here. So remember, our filters are minimum 15 closed units total, minimum 10 of those units are list side, and this person had to have gone to family reunion in 2018. So that leaves me with Eric, Dawn, and Preston here. So I can select one of these guys to add to my referral network or to send them a referral, or I can broadcast this referral to all 3 of them at the same time, or however many people are in this list if it's under 100. What I'm trying to say here is you can only broadcast a referral to fewer than 100 agents. So if you're looking at too big of an area or your filters are too wide and it's showing 300 agents, you can't broadcast that referral to 300 people. You can only broadcast it to what I think is under 100. So if I click on that, I'm going to give some basic information about this referral to all 3 of them. So they'll see whether it's a buyer, seller, or renter, what my requested referral fee is, how long they have to accept the referral, and then the min and max price for this person. They're not going to get any contact information, not going to get a name of this client until one of them responds or multiple of them respond and you decide, okay, I'm going to give the referral to such and such person. Then they'll get all this information down here. Now, one thing about doing referrals here in Command versus doing them in KW Connect is this person already has to be a contact in your Commands database. So you'd have to go back over to Command, click Add a New Contact, add that person in there with however much contact information you have, name, email, phone number, all that stuff, and then you'd come back here, broadcast it, and select your contact that's here. So I'm going to do an S here. Pretend we're sharing Scott's information. This is a buyer, so it's going to give me the option for pre-approved. If it was a seller, it's going to remove that option. So we'll check that box there. And then how soon is this person wanting to move? 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, or you can do a custom of, we'll call it 9 months here. And then you do have to add a note here. This is a test broadcast. And I'm not actually going to send this referral because those 3 would be very confused that Scott is sending his own information out to them as a referral. But that's what that process looks like. And then 1 or more of these people would respond and say, yes, I'm interested in this referral. And you would decide, I want to give this referral to this person. And then everybody else would be notified that you didn't get this referral. Any questions about broadcasting referrals as I move on to the next thing here? So besides broadcasting referrals, you have the option to add this person to your referral network. And to do that, I'm not going to add any of these people. I'm actually going to search for myself. You can search for specific agents by name up here in the top right. It's going to show first any results that are already in your network, and then you've also got the option for people that are not in your network yet. And you can send them the request to join the referral network here. Adding a note is optional. You can just send that invitation exactly as it is, and then it'll pop up the form to give you the option to send them a referral. Typically, if you're adding someone to your referral network, more often than not, you're going to be sending them a referral at the same time. So you fill out that same information, select your contact, and it'll send that information over to me to work with that referral. So I'm going to select, there we go, I'm going to select Scott here. Min of 250,000, max of 750,000. There we go, 875. That's what we'll call it. They are pre-approved, looking to move in 1 month. They're moving fast, and this is a test referral. And then we'll send that over from Scott to me. So now I'm going to split screen it here. And if I come back to my dashboard, no, back to command dashboard here. And then if I come in here to my referrals, remember Scott's on the left here, I'm on the right. And actually I'm going to make this bigger to show you what it looks like full screen, because that's what you guys are going to be seeing. Weird. There's supposed to be one inbound here. So if I click on that here, it's going to show me I do have an awaiting response from Scott here. So wait, is this, did I send this referral to Scott or from Scott to me? I sent it from Scott to me, right? Yeah. So, okay. So from here, we have the option to accept this referral exactly as is with the requested referral fee, and yes, I want to work with this person. We can also counter it with a higher or lower referral fee. We can also reject this referral saying, no, I don't want to work with that person. And we can also view the activity log, which right now is only going to show Scott sent me the referral. This is not a button. It's not going to do anything. So let's counter this referral just to show you what that looks like. Scott requested a 25% referral fee. Let's say that this is a super low ball person, even though, oh wow, I did 25 million to 87 million. That's a little weird. But pretend this was a person that Scott was sending me that was looking for a starter home or an investment property, maybe under 100K, and asking 25% of a commission on 100K is not going to, you know, leave me very much money. So I'm going to leave this at maybe 10%, or maybe half of that. We'll do 12% or something like that. And then say, Scott, you have 24 hours to decide whether or not you want to accept this lower referral fee. So this is a low transaction, not leaving much for me at 25%. So then we'll counter that. And now if I come back over to Scott, back into his command here, and then into referrals. Let's look at what this new response is here. Okay, so this is, oh, okay, so that makes sense why it didn't show under inbound. It's still under awaiting response. So I was a little wrong earlier. This new response here is going to be regarding referrals themselves rather than referral network invitations. Those are all over there. Okay. So now this one is awaiting response from Scott via me. So Scott has, wait, I'm in Scott. Why? Because this is me. I countered back to Scott. It should be giving Scott the option to accept, reject, or counter. Why is it not? Well, that's a little weird. Okay, so pretend I'm Scott, and I'm going to accept this counter of the lower 10% referral fee. And you can leave an optional note here saying, okay, great, you know, have fun with it, take care of it, all that stuff, and then accept it. So then that's going to move from awaiting response to inbound on my side. And if I come over to Scott, theoretically, wait, this is me. I want to go over to Scott. And then if I come over to Scott, it should go over into outbound. There we go. So this is from Scott. So this is outbound from Scott. So either of us can send notes back and forth throughout the transaction process. If I'm Scott, I could send a note that, okay, this is, you know, my crazy Aunt Hilda. Be careful. She might try to give you a key or get your key or something. I don't know. Or I could send from me to Scott. You know, I met with the client. Showed 7 houses, gonna confer with a partner who, gosh, I can't spell, wasn't there. And then we'll send that update, and Scott will get that notification here in that section there with that note. And then you can go back and forth, and as the transaction comes to a close, you would need to close the referral. So when I click on that, we've got 2 options here. Closed means it did fund, it did go all the way through, they signed paperwork, you got your commission, you did all your split and everything, so you can just submit that. Or you have the option for did not close. So funding fell through, the appraisal didn't work, the inspection showed something they absolutely couldn't do. I decided not to work with this person decided to work with a different agent, you know, whatever. You do have to provide a reason for that. So the reason for it not closing is required. So I'm going to mark this as closed, and we'll submit that. And then now this is going to show here under View Closed Referrals. There we go. So let's see. These are expired. That means, what does that mean? One of us didn't respond in enough time in whatever time range was given. These were rejected, sent from me to Scott or vice versa, where we said, no, we didn't want to work with this client. These are lost, meaning it didn't close, it didn't get funded. And then these are, there's a lot of lost ones there. We've also got funded here, means it closed, everything's taken care of, and everybody got paid. Is that Tom Morrow? Did I really do that? Tom Morrow. Anyway, now one thing to point out about all of these referrals is that you can do pretty much everything that we just did here on the computer in the Kelly app. Also, you can add people to your network. You can search for other agents to send referrals to. You can accept, reject, counter, all that fun stuff in Kelly as well, without having to be on the computer here. So you can do that both places. That's going to do it for our overview of chats, groups, and referrals in KW Commands. Definitely send us any additional questions you have at support@scottleroymarketing.com.